investment. And that's a different... I have to dance. It's a different set of mind. It's an investment. It will bring you back money in the future. But if you don't invest, you don't get the good milking cow. My main topic today will be milking. I talked last year about calf rearing again already. I want to talk now about the milking process. One thing that I can only emphasize, the milking process should be stress-free, should be calm. So avoid sudden movements, avoid shouting. If cows get frightened, they produce more adrenaline, they don't release the oxytocin, and your milk process will not be as good as it can be. The same is for painful actions. Prevent to make painful actions at milking. I really stress not to treat cows with injections in the milking parlor. Do it after milking on another place, but not on the place where you milk the cows. That place should be a pleasant place for the cows to be. That's very important. Don't hit cows. We didn't see it this year, but don't do it. Ensure milking machines are maintained properly. And what I mean by that is maintenance can be sometimes a problem, but a lot of things you can do yourself. And for example, changing liners on time is very important. Liners should be changed from rubber at 2500 milkings. Don't use them for a longer time, because already at say 2200, 2300 milkings, you already see, if you look through the microscope, there are more, the liners inside get more rough. And when they get more rough, microbes can stay inside those liners, microbes can grow and can cause higher somatic cell count, can cause mastitis and give you problems. I don't know how many problems you have with stray voltage, but stray voltage can be a very, very big problem sometimes, because cows are very, very susceptible to power. Much more than we. We don't feel it, but a cow does feel it. And then she does not want to come in your milking parlor. So I said, keep the milking routine as calm as possible. That means that all your workers should apply the same routine at the same time. A cow is used to a specific system, and she likes that everything is the same every day. We as people like variation. A cow does not like variation. She likes actually everything should be the same every day. Milking at the same time, milking by the same persons, and at the same way. I don't know how many small-scale farmers are in this room, but I would like to tell a little bit about hand milking, because what we see too often is that the hand milking technique is not properly, because a lot of people strip instead of milk. And if you strip, you pull at the teat, and that's pain for the cow. So try to milk the proper technique. Proper technique is close, take two teats, like this, take them diagonally, or just first the front or the net, just what you want. Close the top of the teat, and then go down with your fingers one by one to press the milk out. As you see on the right side, close it like this, and then put your fingers down one by one. I know it needs practice. The first cow you will feel it will be very tired, but if you do it properly, practice brings exercise and will help. Also, if you have mastitis cows, that will help. Because if you pull at the teat at a mastitis cow, which is already painful, you will make it more painful. So now go to the milking technique. On many farms, we see people using a lot of water to clean the cows, even if the teats are clean. That's really not necessary. It's actually much better to keep water away, just clean, dry cleaning. But you need a proper clean cloth for every cow. So only if you have very dirty cows, what you see on the right. Or if you use a blocking dip, then I would advise to use water. A blocking dip is very difficult to get off the teats if you clean those cows with water. What you have to realize is after you clean them with water, you have to dry the teats. Don't put the cluster on a wet teat. Because if you do that, you get more liner slip, you get more rings on top of the other. The teats will more affected by the pressure of the vacuum and get more damage. Every cow before milking should be force stripped. There are several reasons why you do force stripping. The first one is you take out the milk that's in the teat cistern. And that milk, most of the time, contains a high somatic cell count. So you try to get rid of that milk. The second thing is you can look at that milk and see if there are abnormalities like blood or lumps in that milk. What you see here, if you strip, take 4 or 5 beams, the whole process should take no less than 10 seconds. So it's a very quick process, but it helps you to see what's going on in that udder. This is a very important picture, because we see a lot of times that this is not done the right way. You have to realize that milk does not come out from itself. The cow needs help. And if you look at the picture at the right, you see the cisterns, the big holes. That contains about 20% of the milk at the time of milking. The other 80% is above in the tissue of the udder. So to let the milk down, the cow needs oxytocin. But the oxytocin is coming from the head. Okay. The oxytocin is coming from the head. So that means it takes time. And when you start touching the teats, that's actually the start of the moment that the oxytocin is being released in the head. In about 30 seconds. But then it takes time to work in the udder. So the total time for the oxytocin to start working properly takes about 60 to 90 seconds. And that's what you see in the picture on the left. So when you start treating the cow, you have to wait 60 to 90 seconds before you attach the cluster. Why is that? This picture explains a lot of that. If you do a proper milking, you see the red line. That's a normal process of milk letdown. It should start very quickly, a nice milk flow, stops at the end, and then you can take the cluster off, or it will take it off automatically. When you look at the green line, the light green line, then you see what's happening when you do it too fast. The oxytocin release is not optimal. So what happens is that your milk flow starts, but that's only the milk that's in the teat cistern and in the other cistern. But it's not the milk that's coming from the top of the udder. So the milk production goes down. So at that time you have a little bit of overmilking. I'll come back to that later. And then when the oxytocin is starting to get up, then your milk process is starting. But already you will see that the milk process of the milk flow is lower than normal. So your whole milking process actually takes longer, like this, than it can have been. So you can gain time by waiting those 60-90 seconds. It sounds strange, but you can win time in the total process. If you wait too long, so if you start cleaning and doing a lot of stuff, going to another cow and let the cow wait, then you see on the dark green or blue line, you see it takes much longer for the cow to give you that milk, because the oxytocin release already has gone. It stops working. Is that clear? Now we start by overmilking. I think we've seen that on, well, maybe 60-70% of the farms. A lot. Overmilking means that you leave your cluster hanging on the cow while the cow is empty, or not giving enough milk. In the Netherlands, most farmers work with an automatic take-off system, and it's adjusted to about 0.5 liters per minute, then it should be taken off. If you milk 3 times a day, it should actually be 0.7 liters. And in the US, they go to 1 liter per minute sometimes. So it depends a little bit on the farm, but you can adjust it. But most of you work with workers, so you have to look, really look at the cluster and see how many milk is coming through that cluster. How much milk. If the cow is empty, it should be taken off. And what we see too often is that you try to get more milk out of it. People push on the cluster, take the cluster off, stimulate, put on the cluster again. Don't do that. Just milk, as I said before, let the milk flow come and take off the cluster. There will always be milk left in the udder. Always. Don't have the illusion that you can take all the milk out. You have to realize cow production of milk is an ongoing, continuous process. So if your cow leaves the milking parlor, she already produced new milk. That's normal. So what's happening during milking is that you see when the milk flow comes, when the vacuum is low, milk will come out. But you see that the teat is sucked into the liner. That's normal. That's normal. Because you will see that every teat will get damaged over time a little bit. But if there's no milk flow, then the vacuum will rise underneath the teat and actually in the end will reach the same height as your working vacuum of the system. And that's very high. And then the liner the teat will get sucked into the liner, will get crushed actually, will get squeezed in that liner. And because it gets squeezed, you damage it. And especially the teat end will get damaged. And that's what you see here. If you see, well, most heifers should have teats like on the left. If you have a second and third lactation cow, then you will have probably some cows who will have like a score 2, a smooth ring. As I told you already, that's normal. You have to realize that if you milk a cow twice a day, that the damage you do at the teat, at the first milking, already will not be recovered on the next milking. And that's an ongoing process because the cow is milked twice a day, 7 days a week, and so on. So you'll always see some damage at the teat. So the 1 and 2 you can have, that's quite normal. The 3 and 4, you can see that they get much rougher. Those give the most problems. That are mostly the high somatic cell count cows or the cows with the most mastitis. And those cows, you should not have too many. Actually, I can tell you, if you have more than 10% of these cows, the 3 and 4, you should check your milking machine. There must be a problem with your milking machine, for sure. Because if you have this is a score 4 teat, and you can see that the teat is rough, the teat end. And because it's rough, it's A, very difficult to clean, but also B, microbes can house in those rough tissue very easily and stay there. And you cannot get them out. And during milking, the teeth are flushed in milk. And if you have a milking vacuum problem or something else, milk can go back into the teeth. And that's also happening with overmilking, because the pressure can be very high underneath the teeth, but when it's very high and low inside the teeth, then milk can come down from the liner, even from the cluster, going back into the udder, causing problems, causing high somatic cell count, and causing mastitis. So you should avoid having these kind of cows. So to summarize, for me, is try to milk your process, try to keep the process of milking stress-free. So keep away pain and so on and so on. Do a good preparation. That's always important. Take care of the 60-90 seconds. Clean properly. If you use water, as I told you before, then try to make it dry. And very important, always use one cloth per cow. Don't go with the same cloth to another cow, because then you will cause more mastitis, because you spread the infection yourself. And take clean cloths, of course. And avoid overmilking, because overmilking always will destroy teats in the end. And so your cows will not get old enough, and you will lose them actually too soon. And what I mean by that is, you raise a cow, a heifer, a calf, you raise them to get milk. They start milking at 2 years old. Actually, if you don't reach the 3rd and the 4th lactations, you will lose money in the end on those cows. Because for you, the 3rd, the 4th, and maybe further on, those are the most profitable lactations for a dairy farmer. Then the cow gives you milk that you can profit from. So if you only have young cows, look at your herd. I would like that. In average, I hope a lot of cows should easily reach 5, 6, 7 lactations. That should not be a problem. If you don't reach that, think about it, why, for yourself. Okay? Thank you very much. If you have questions, then I'm really happy to answer them. Should I now?
Okay. Thank you so much, Will. Yeah.
Thank you, Will, for the very good illustration of dairy farming for our farmers. However, I don't know if you could also help us with also understanding how best to milk when we're hand milking, because there's a group of farmers here who actually don't have the machinery, and they basically use their hands to milk. Yes, how can we also improve our milking when we're hand milking, as it were?
Well, actually, the cleaning and the preparation of the cows should be the same. That's no difference. Only the milking during the milk flow has to be done by hand. And as I showed you, you should use a proper technique to do that, and that will help. But yeah, you need to train it for yourself, because I know it for myself, because if I do it, I cannot milk one cow. I can promise you, because your fingers will be hurting and it stops. It really stops. But if you really strip, I would not advise that, because then you're hurting the cow, and she doesn't like that, of course. So try to be gentle with the cow, and for the rest, actually, it's the same process. It's not different.
Okay.
And you have to exercise. Yeah, you have to exercise. Yeah.
Right. Thank you very much.
We our students, but not anymore. But in the past, what they had on school was a plastic rubber udder where they could practice on, and it was much harder to milk than a real cow. So if you could milk that cow, then you could milk every cow. So maybe for you somewhere to find, I don't know, but you need somebody to show you. But it's not a difficult process, but it's, well, if you have done it once, you know what I mean. Yeah.
Right. Thank you so much.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah, any other questions? No questions? Okay, thank you. Thank you, Will, for a very good presentation. Okay, thank you. So what's it? So now we are going to have a presentation from Dr. Makon. Dr. Makoni. Is he around? I think it's okay. So maybe we can switch on to Mr. Ice, Mr. Kirk. Thank you.
Have you got the presentation? Morning, everyone. Maskati maswera sei. Murukuzinzwa ere kuseru. Better. Right. My name's Ice Kirk. I'm from Red Dane and Icefeed, and I just want to do a short talk about what we are seeing when we are visiting the farms. So myself and Tariro, we visit a lot of farms all over the country, big farmers and small farmers. And a lot of farmers, they are very good at saving. They are very good at saving the cents and keeping their money in their pocket, which is good. But sometimes you need to spend a bit of money to make money. So it's very important that you look, I get the feeling I'm going to be squeezed off here. Anyway, it's very important that you consider where you need to save and where you need to spend. So I'm hoping with this talk I can give you a few tips where you need to put your bit of money that you have. So let's go. Do I go? Bang. Okay, so these are the things we're going to talk about, and I'm just going to go straight to them. The first one is water troughs. I think yesterday, young Mr. Ganye at the field day in Harare South, he was very clear. Said, Mukaka imvura, imwechete. There's only 13% of in milk which is not water. The rest is water. So the most important ingredient, the most important food, the most important thing on your farm, okay, so the way to make sure your cows get enough water is to make sure their water trough is good. And the